Hello, my name is Joshua Schlegel. Welcome to my spoiler-free review of Last Argument of Kings by Joe Abercrombie, which is book 3 of the First Law Trilogy. So to begin with what I liked about this book, the prose in this one, in my opinion, was by far the best out of all 3 of them. There are so many quotable lines in this book that hit me way harder than the first 2. The character arcs in this book and how things wrap up with them are very satisfying, and they just leave me wanting more. Journeying alongside them and watching their transformations through thick and thin, even though they may not be doing the best of things, you really grow to love these characters and wish the best for them in many moments. And I'm super stoked to see if any of their arcs or stories continue on in the following books in this world of the First Law. The plot and how everything tied together was really thought out and planned. It was brilliant from Abercrombie. I really enjoyed those aha moments you get when things would happen and you can remember the seeds that were planted from the very first book and how it all intertwines with the plot and ended up in the way it does in the third book, and it was so satisfying, which also makes me want to go back and reread from the first book as well, which we won't do anytime soon, but I do see myself wanting to reread the entire trilogy for that reason. This book has plenty of emotional and jaw-dropping scenes. I mean, from early on, I remember reading one of the scenes, in fact, probably my favorite, definitely in the first quarter of the book, and I was at work, and I got goosebumps. And I love that this book does that. I mean, all of them have those moments as well, but this one has more than the other 2 for sure, which makes sense. But yeah, so didn't disappoint there either. Also appreciated the moments of snickering and just laughing out loud from this book as well. It's crazy how sometimes those moments do come from something dark happening, but it has this humor overlay to it, which is very enjoyable, or at least it was for me. The book also gave me a lot to unpack when it comes to thoughts, messages, and themes, especially with like how everything ended. Man, it was so good. As far as mixes and dislikes, I mean, I don't really have any straight up dislikes. A mix, I would say, just kind of a quibble for me, was there are some, I guess, races or regions in the world that I wish were a bit more fleshed out. There's one character in specifically that I wish we got more kind of backstory on or learned more about them. And there's also a type of people that kind of felt like came out of nowhere, but I appreciated it. I mean, any part of the world building I did like. I think it's really that whole grim dark or grim overtone of the world and the vibe and the dialogue and all that stuff that really has you immersed into the world of the First Law. But yeah, I mean, we get so much of certain regions that there are other regions I wish we got a bit more of as well. So that's my only mix when it comes to this book. So as far as my final rating and thoughts, I do want to say I feel like this book is the darkest one out of all 3 for me. Reading the first book, I didn't feel like, I knew grimdark was the genre or whatever that these books were labeled as. I didn't feel like it was really too dark, just compared to, like, I guess shows I've watched and movies I've seen and things like that, which I've never shied away from kind of dark themes or grim darkness or anything like that. So it just felt like it was on the lighter side. I think it was really the humor that kind of led up on that grim darkness. But reading this one, especially with just a lot of those themes and stuff that are present throughout the book, it definitely felt more dark than the other 2, even though the other 2 did have their moments 100%. I think it's absurd that, I've heard that the First Law Trilogy, these first 3 books are the weakest out of, I think there's 9 or 10 total in this world. That just blows my mind, because I mean, this book, along with the entire trilogy, for me, are just 5 stars. I'll never forget it, you know, I'll never forget it. It'll probably hold that spot of best fantasy trilogies ever for me, probably in my top 3 or top 5 for a very long time, if not forever, just because not only was it that good, but it's also like the first major fantasy trilogy series of books that I've read. So yeah, I think it's going to be difficult to dethrone this one. I mean, just masterful writing, masterful character work, and when it comes to morally great characters, you know, I think I heard that Joe Abercrombie was inspired by Game of Thrones or A Song of Ice and Fire, so that would definitely make sense because there's so much of these books that give me Game of Thrones vibes, and I have never read the books. You know, this is just based off of me watching the series, but it's like, I don't know, you look at the Game of Thrones books that are out there, or the Song of Ice and Fire books that are out there, and it's kind of intimidating because they're pretty, you know, they're pretty thick, and there's 5 of them, I believe, and it's a series that's not finished. So when you look at that, and then you look at, oh, like First Law Trilogy, 3 books, like we can do that, and it gave me those vibes. It was really good. Compared to the vibes I got to the show from the show anyway. I do plan to read A Song of Ice and Fire. I hear I find it fascinating that those books are still, you know, many people's top fantasy books ever that they've ever read, even though the series is unfinished, and they'll all swear by, like, yes, still read them. So I do have them, and I plan to read them, and I'm super excited for that, even more so now from reading the First Law Trilogy. As far as how I would rank these first 3 books, for me, Book 2 is still my favorite. I think I would put Book 2 my favorite, this one as my second favorite, and then Book 1 at my third favorite, or least favorite. But they're all so good. They're all good. They all have great moments. Yeah, Book 2 is just, there's specific moments that happen in Book 2 that just really hit me hard, and it's my favorite one. If you want to see why Book 2 takes the cake for me, check out my spoiler discussion video that I'll be posting shortly, as well as just if you want to see me geek out more about this book and just talk about it in depth, be on the lookout for that video. So that wraps up my spoiler-free review for Last Argument of Kings by Joe Abercrombie. I appreciate you watching, and I hope this video provided help or value in some way. I do wish you the best, as always, and hope you have a great rest of your day. Woo! Alright. Yo. Alright, welcome to my spoiler-free review.